everybody, welcome to Teens Empowerment because this is Ariesss. The age of 16 for an average American teenager is of huge significance. From 16 years old onwards, teenagers are granted chances to pursue non-compulsory education, legally allowed to work, and eligible for paying taxes. They can join the army, get married, drive, have children, and even gamble. Yet, I think there's one very important thing missing from and should be added on this list: voting in all national level elections. Because
Number 1.
16 is a legal working age, so a lot of teenagers choose to take summer jobs. And the same as adults, they are asked to pay taxes for every single cent of income they earn. Last year, in 2015, the tax rate for a single whose income is between $0 to $9,225 is 10%. According to Fair Labor Standards Act, employers will pay the employees whose workday is less than 19 days minimum wage of $4.25 per hour. Now let's assume an average American teenager works 6 hours per day for a summer, say 60 days. He will in total earn $4.25 per hour times 6 hours times 60 days equals $1,530. That is his income, and he will pay his government $1,530 times 10% equals $153 of tax. In 2015, 177,840 American teens took summer jobs. So let's assume all the American teenagers do the same thing an average American teen does. They will, in total, create 177,840 people times $153 per person equals $27,209,520 of tax. That is a huge amount. Teens contribute to the government's national income, so they should have a voice in the civic matter. They are entitled to rights to choose whoever they think would be the best leader of the country they live in and of the government they pay to.
Number 2.
Vice News conducted an interview in Westminster, London, right after the result of the United Kingdom European membership referendum came out in June 2016. In the video, Westminster was flooded with angry British youths. They held up signs like, "I love European Union, we are Europeans," blaming the old generations for making decisions that was going to ruin the rest of their lives.
You organized this rally?
I had the idea yesterday when I was with some friends. I just really wanted to have an opportunity to react to what happened in a sort of heartfelt and spirited way, as opposed to just posting endless angry Facebook updates, which I think that we've all gotten into a habit of doing.
A lot's been made of the fact that the older generation in the UK voted to leave and a lot of younger people wanted to stay, and that the older people have almost stolen the future of the younger people. Is that how you feel?
The older generation here made a decision that they won't necessarily have to live with the consequences of. And they all lived through a generation where they got to go to university for free, where the NHS was completely free. Everything's going to change. So
19% of the voters between age 18 to 24 voted leave in the referendum, while the number is 60% for pensioners. Online Wiki and the forum The Student Room conducted a poll. The results showed that 82% of the 16 to 17-year-olds were inclined to remain. There are 1.42 million of 16 to 17s in the UK. 82% of them would be enough to match the gap in the 1.2 million difference between remain and leave. If 16 and 17-year-olds were allowed to vote, British citizens could have kept having the privileges of freely traveling and sitting within the EU member countries. However, in the referendum, 16 and 17-year-olds were not granted chances to have a say over probably the most important decision in their lives. They were not allowed to vote, but they need to live with the consequences.
Number 3.
Austria is the only European Union country with a voting age of 16 in all nationwide elections. How do they dare? Most of the people who speak against lowering the voting age label 16 and 17-year-olds as a group of people who are irrational, arbitrary, emotional. In short, a group of people who have not yet attained maturity to make smart decisions. But how do they gauge maturity? If we are speaking about biological maturity, human beings' brains are still growing in their 20s. So how can you say a 20-year-old is smarter and more mature and is able to make smarter decisions than a 16-year-old does? And if you are speaking about mature awareness of civic knowledge, most of the teenagers have much greater access to various type of information via media than their parents do, so they're more informed technically. Laura Steinberg, a psychologist and an adolescent expert who works at the Los Angeles Times, notes that 16 to 17-year-olds were just as capable of voting as those who are older. And Patrick Pashaw, a member of the Ariesss Civic Council, a legislative body composed of mayor and city council, says that we keep telling a youth that we want them to be involved in the city and the government. Yet the message we send by denying them a right to vote is that their voice doesn't matter. Thus, it can be seen 16 and 17-year-olds possess the civic knowledge that are quintessential to make sound decisions in votings. It is unjustified to ask for teenagers' involvement in society, yet not giving them chances to practice their right to vote.
Recap.
16 and 17-year-old teenagers pay taxes, so they should have a voice over how the government they pay to should function. 16 and 17-year-old teenagers are the ones who will take over the country, so they should have a say over decisions that are going to influence their future. 16 and 17-year-old teenagers are eligible and are expected to get involved in society, so they should be allowed to vote in all national level elections. That is all for today's Teens Empowerment, because this is Ariesss. See you next time.